Hello, Aries. Thank you for tuning in to your general read. For the main part of the read, I've been drawn to this deck today, so I'm going to use this. The Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. And I use this other deck with it all the time, so I'm going to continue to do that. Angel Answers Oracle Cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Supportive Oracle cards. Already shuffled. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right, let's see what we're... All right, so... Where... All right, so there's a big open spot in the center. I'm not really getting the other side of what's happening here. I'm getting all about how you're perceiving something and where something is going. So, whatever the situation is, the strongest two things that come through are romance and business. And I feel like those are separate. I don't feel like that's coming together, but it could for some of you. So it's either going, I feel like the majority of you, it's either romance or it's business. Now, doesn't mean there can't be other ways for this to hit, granted. But I'm feeling that strongly. So I feel like that's where this information is going to connect mostly. And that might be the most of where the analogies come from, just to give you a heads up. But definitely tailor it to your own needs. Something you're seeing coming, you're already feeling like something is coming into play fairly soon. But you're questioning what? And I'm getting, not only are you listening to your intuition, but whatever the situation is, if it's business or if it's romantic or whatever it is, the other side is also kind of looking at it in a more of an intuitive way. And I'm getting this as like watching how other people are reacting. It's not so much about what is said, but what is done, how people feel around each other. Do people want to be around each other? Things like that. I'm getting it's the small things at this point. A lot of reading between the lines here on both sides. It's like, yes, on paper this may look a certain way, but what's actually going to happen here is more of a question. And I feel like both sides are trying to feel it out with what they really feel is going to happen rather than what it looks like is going to happen. Now, the fact that you're both on the same page with that is very interesting to me, whoever you're dealing with, however that's working out, because I'm getting this is largely in your court about what you want. And I am getting the situation that whatever's currently going on, they are saying they have to, within the few months here, this is going to play out over the next 2 to 3, maybe a little longer months. So this isn't going to be like a slam dunk in a couple moments, but it's going to play out in the next few months because I'm getting what you're standing at. I'm getting you have the Queen of Cups, like you're keeping your emotions together, but you're, whatever the situation is, business, love, something else, you do want it. You do want it, but you're not confident that it's going to happen. So even though you do want it, you're just like, am I investing for nothing? Am I getting involved with something just to be, thrown to the side? So even though you do want it, you're considering maybe I should just, let it be. And I'm getting like you're actually living in these two cards. Like you're still going forward with it. You're keeping your emotions secret, but you're constantly ready. Like if this goes sour, then I have to move on. If this person or situation doesn't seem favorable, then I have to move on. If this person or situation says we're done, then I will move on. It's almost like you're having this backup plan just in case it goes south. I say that and I'm just like, why did I use that term? But okay. So you are waiting it out because I do have the Temperance here also. But you would like to see it go forward, but you have that backup plan. If it doesn't go forward, you'll be fine. That seems to be where you're standing. And I'm not getting like where this is going in the current. Like I feel like this is largely about how you're handling the situation. Because I'm getting the other side doesn't know. Like I feel like they're seeing your reaction and I'm getting you're disconnected emotionally, you're not sharing how you feel emotionally, and they may feel like that's disinterest. Whatever you're doing, business, romance, however that might go for you. The other side, I'm feeling, may get the impression you're disinterested or just playfully interested. Like they're not feeling an investment from you. And I feel like that's coloring the situation a little bit. Because it's very open here in the center. Like I'm getting like things are left to interpretation. Like both sides don't know where the other is really standing. Because I'm getting like there might be more of a match on the other side. Like I'm getting both sides doesn't know where the other stands. But they're trying to feel it out. Each side is trying to feel it out. Whatever the situation is. Now, the first action card, like after like I don't feel like this is now. I feel like this is in the future. In the sense of like, it's kind of like, I know this is playing out over the next few months, so at some point it's going to hit this spot with the Four of Wands. Because I feel like there's a really good moment that happens here in the future, and it seems like things are going really well. I'm like, is there more information with this? They're just telling me it's kind of, it feels very general and bland to me. Like it's a good moment, things are going well. Both sides have been getting along anyway. So there's a good moment here, there's like a happy moment. But I feel like it's just a moment. And after that moment, the wheel turns. Because I'm getting that moment is kind of like setting it up for where it's going next. Because the wheel does turn. And then the world is right after it. So I'm getting, in this one moment, it either makes it or breaks it. And it's either the situation moves forward full force or drops off completely. Because the wheel turns, and I'm getting, this situation is really weird. Because to me, I'm like, is this going left or right? Like, is it going good or going bad? And they're like, yeah. Like, I feel like that's the response I'm getting. Like, is this going good or bad? And they're like, yes. I'm like, well, which is it? And it depends on your situation. Okay, my mother does this to me. I'll say, do you want to go to this place for lunch or that place? And she'll go, that'll work. And I'm like, well, which one? Whichever. I'm like, listen, pick one. Oh my God, that's so weird. I hate that when people answer that way. And I feel like that's what I'm getting is like one of those answers is like, is it going to go good? Is it going to go bad? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, which is it? Is it a combination of both? Which is it? And I'm getting like, it depends on your situation. I get that. I just personally, that's one of my peeves. I hate that. I hate that so much. I'm like, no, don't tell me, okay, just, which is it? It is a good moment either way. I get that. But it's kind of like, some of you are looking at it like, this is as good as it's going to get. Might as well just call it for what it is and move on. Because I feel like even though it's a good moment, it's not a good enough moment to stay in the situation, whatever it is. But for others of you, it's very inspiring. And it's like, it's a really good moment, and it can continue to be such a good moment, and you want to keep it. So you cement in with it. I'm getting, though, this is largely on your side, though. I feel like the control is in your court. Because I'm not feeling you're upset either way. Whichever way it goes, I'm getting you're deciding. And you're fine with whatever you decide. This moment is going to define it for you. You're either going to look at it as like, yeah, it's a good moment, but that's pretty much as good as it's going to get. I think I'm going to move on. And you just bring it to closure and move on. Or the reverse. You see it like, yeah, this is great. This has potential for more. I would like to cement into with it. And you make that decision and move forward. It's going to take you a few months because I'm getting whatever's happening here in these few months leading up to this moment. It's either been kind of like inspiring, or it's been kind of like, it's been okay, but not fireworks, if that makes sense. Even if it's a business thing, it's been okay, but it's not been anything you've been overly excited about. You still like the situation, and you're holding your situation, your feelings back, but you haven't been like, hasn't been like that firework feeling, if that makes sense. Or maybe you've been a little bit like holding back your emotion, and it's been building. But the last few months, I'm telling you, like when it hits this moment, the last few months, if you look at it more favorable than not, you'll want to go forward. If you look at it like it was good but not great, you'll pass and move on. It's going to be up to you, though. And I feel like that's what they're saying. The control is in your hand. I don't feel like anything's really devastating here. And I'm really not connecting with another side of how another side is reacting. I feel like this is all in your court. Because if you go forward, I feel like the other side will be very conducive with that. I feel like that'll be easy for you. If you move on, I feel like the other side wasn't sure how engaged you were anyway, and they're not overly shocked that you moved on. Because you're holding your feelings very secret. So I feel like it's going to, whatever way you want to go, but it's going to definitely depend on these next couple months. I hope this is making sense, because I'm trying to make a point here. It's like, if it was more half full, like, you know, optimistic, if you felt more optimistic these last few months, and then when this good moment hits, you're going to like, well, let's keep it going. But if you're kind of like, I don't know if this is really going anywhere, you're just kind of ambivalent about it, I would say, and you're just kind of holding on, you still have feelings, but you're not really sure how this is going to work, and it doesn't really move forward from that, it just stays in this ambivalent feeling the whole time. When this good moment hits, you might feel like, well, this is as good as it's going to get. Not for me, and you're going to move on. But these 2 months here, like a couple months I'm getting, because I had given this card here, the within a few months card, I feel like it's going to really like cement in a feeling one way or the other for you, and then you'll decide what you want, which, not for nothing, I feel like that's actually a good place to be when you get to decide what you want and what you don't. So, I feel like that's good. Are we good? Good. Alright, I'm going to wrap that up there. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. jamesforastral@gmail.com, if I can spit it out. Thank you.